Panthers soccer club party of 15? Oh boy, this is going to be fun.
A soccer team is having dinner at a restaurant to celebrate their winning season. The frazzled waiter gives them an incomplete bill. Help the team fill in the missing amounts.
The tax rate varies from state to state. Some states have a 0% tax rate, others have an 8.25% tax rate. Savvy travelers are aware of the different tax rates as they travel around the United States, so they can plan their expenses.
This is a two-step problem. The first step is to figure out the meals tax, and then the second step is to figure out the total. We'll start by using the percent equation. We have to figure out the meals tax first. The percent equation is part equals percent times whole. Make sure you always identify each portion of the equation. The whole is the subtotal, so $142. The percent in this case is the meals tax, which is 5%. And remember to always convert your percentage to a decimal when you substitute it into your equation. So percent to decimal, you divide, or you move the decimal point 2 times to the left, So the decimal form of 5% is 500ths. So we're going to use 500ths when we substitute it into our equation. Our part, that is unknown, so I'll use a variable. And in this case, the part, when we get the dollar amount, it will represent the meals tax. So let's go ahead and substitute that information into our equation. So our variable is already isolated, so all we have to do is just multiply 500ths and 142. And remember, when you're multiplying decimals, you do not have to line up the decimals. All you have to do is line up the digits. So 5% of 142 is 7 1/10. So that means, remember what the variable represents. This represents the meals tax. So the meal tax is $7.10. So now to figure out the total, you have to think about what you do with taxes. Taxes is additional money you have to pay, so we have to go ahead and add the sales tax or the meals tax to the subtotal. So when you're adding or subtracting decimals, you have to make sure you line up the place value. So here you see my ones place is lined up. Make sure your decimals are lined up, and then you can just go ahead and add regularly. So my total is $149.10.
Tips are calculated similarly to taxes. Suppose the team brought a total of $175 to pay for dinner. Do they have enough money to tip the waiter 18% of the subtotal? Explain.
Make sure when you're working this out, you use the subtotal and not the total. So the subtotal will be considered your whole. Make sure you use the subtotal when you are working this problem out.
You could get any of these cars here. You could, but don't you want this one? Don't you want this sound system? These leather seats, these rims? Isn't paying a little extra now for all that enjoyment later worth it? If you ask me, I say you belong in this car right here. If you ask me, you are worth it.
At a car dealership, a car salesman is trying to sell a car to his client. His commission rate is 6%. Part A. How much would the car salesman earn on each car? Part B. How much would the car dealership make on each car?
In order to answer these questions, we need to use our percent equation, which is part equals percent times whole, and we'll work on the blue car first. So the part in this case will be the commission. So whatever the commission in dollar amount, that will be our part. In this case, we don't know. That's what we're looking for, so we can go ahead and use a variable. And remember, this part represents the commission. Our percentage is the 6% here. So when you are substituting the percentage into the equation, make sure you use the decimal form of the percent. Percent to decimal, you divide, or you move the decimal point 2 times to the left, So 6% written as a decimal is 600. So we're going to use 600 when we substitute that into our equation. Our whole is the original price of the car in this case. So it's $16,800. That will be our whole. Now we can substitute the information into our equation. C equals 600 times 16,800. And remember, when you're multiplying decimals, you do not have to line up the decimal points. You just have to line up the digits. So the variable here is already isolated. So all I have to do is get 16% of 16,800, which is $1,008. So A, how much will the car salesman earn on each car? So the car salesman for the blue car will earn $1,008. B, how much would the dealership make on each car? So in order to figure out how much the dealership will make, we have to subtract what they gave to the car salesman. So I'm going to subtract these two numbers, and you could just subtract regularly. 16,800 minus 1,008 is 15,792. So this is how much the car dealership will make on this car, and this is the commission the car salesman will make. We are going to complete the exact same steps we did for the blue car for the red car. So our part is unknown, and that would be considered the commission. Our percent is 6%, and remember, written as a decimal is 600. Our whole is the original price of the car, which is $25,400. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute that information into our equation. The variable is already isolated, so I don't need to move anything. All I have to do is multiply the 6% and the 25,400. And when I multiply that, I get $1,524. The 1,524, remember, that represents the commission. And to answer part B, how much would the car dealership earn? We have to make sure we subtract the commission from the original cost of the car. So when we go ahead and subtract that, we get 23,876. So 23,876 represents how much the car dealership will make for the red car. For the black car, we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to use our percent equation, which is part equals percent times whole. The percentage is the same as it was for the first two cars. It is 6% because that's how much commission the car salesman earns. Our whole, again, it is the original cost of the car. In this case, it is $33,000. Our part is unknown, and what it represents is the amount of commission the car salesman will earn. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute all of that information into the equation. When I multiply, since my variable is already isolated, all I have to do is multiply these two numbers. I get 1,980. And 1,980, remember, that represents how much commission the car salesman would earn. Now, step 2, to figure out what the car dealership would get, you have to make sure you subtract what the car salesman earned in commission from the original price of the car. When I subtract, we end up with $31,020. So $31,020 represents how much the car dealership will make on that car. Here are the final answers for the blue, red, and black car.
At a real estate agency, a real estate agent sold a house for $345,000. Her commission rate is 3%. Part A. How much did the real estate agent earn on the house? Part B. How much did the seller make on the house? Suppose you are a car salesperson. Would you prefer to make a 6% commission on each car you sell, or would you prefer to get a flat fee of $1,500 per car? Explain. Taylor has a new sales job at a clothing store. She is given two options for how to be paid. Option A, hourly wage of $7.15. Option B, 18% commission on total sales. She plans to work 4 hours per day, 5 days a week. She also estimates that she can sell about $200 worth of clothing per day. Which option would give Taylor more earnings per week? Explain. Option A, hourly wage of $7.15. In 1 week, she would work 4 hours per day, times 5 days per week, equals 20 hours per week. So, with an hourly wage, she would earn 20 hours per week times $7.15 per hour. Or $143 per week. With option A, Taylor would earn $143 per week. Option B, 18% commission on total sales. In 1 week, she would sell about $200 per day times 5 days per week or $1,000 worth of clothing per week. So her commission would be commission equals commission rate times sales amount. The commission rate is 18%. The sales amount is $1,000. Convert the percent into a decimal. 18% equals 1800ths. Multiply. With option B, Taylor would earn $180 per week. Taylor would make $143 a week in wages with option A. Based on her estimates of how much she can sell, she would make $180 in commission with option B. Option B would give Taylor more earnings per week than option A. John has a new job at an electronics store. He has two options for how to be paid. Option A, hourly wage of $16. Option B, 16% commission on total sales. He plans to work 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. He also estimates that he can sell about $3,500 worth of electronics per week. Which option would give John more earnings per week? Explain.